That's where I was brought up. So I go there as much as I can still. Actually, I just got home yesterday from there, you know, because it's great. You just go back there and you just, there's no people anywhere near. There's just nature. And there's just, it's just so many childhood memories in every square meters where you walk. It's like there's like 9 years of running in that ditch, pretending to be a knight or whatever. And if you walk past there, that comes back to you. It's so weird.
So when I see your videos on Instagram of those beautiful, peaceful morning walks, is that what you're referring to?
Yep, yeah, that's there.
Looks very nice. Is that
Yeah.
where you actually went for a dip in the ice as well recently?
No, not that, yeah. Well, it's on Gotland also. But it's 10 kilometers away from there, from the closest lake, so to speak. Um,
Do you
that's
remember when you first? What was the music that basically? Did your parents play any music at home? Were you influenced in any way, music-wise, from family in any way?
Yeah. I was influenced mainly by my two uncles, because they were deep deep into 70s and 80s hard rock. So that's they live in Småland, and we always went there when I was a kid, a few times a year. And so that's where it started. And I used to bring a pack of tapes that were empty tapes, cassette tapes, and then just recorded all the new albums they had bought on there. And that this started when I was 5 or something like that.
Wow.
So, so that's where that's from.
Do you remember any of the artists that really like you listen to that to the music and you're like, whoa? Any memories from that?
Yeah, AC/DC was one of the first, um, definitely first ones. Actually, got my own first AC/DC vinyl when I was 5. Uh,
Seriously? Do you still
yeah,
have it?
I still have it.
Oh,
Still have
that's
it.
awesome.
It's in there.
Amazing, amazing.
There's drawings on it from when I was a child. For those about to rock, that canon, I added some, effects. Boom, just boom.
Did you?
Yeah. I didn't know that I ruined it. I didn't understand that back then.
Oh, well, that's a good memory. That's a gem. And obviously a very precious record. It definitely influenced you, and it's
Yeah,
old records like that. You know that they accrue value these days. I know that you like buying records, and you just started recently purchasing records again, and
yeah,
things like that. I mean, I love doing it. It's just so expensive, isn't it?
yeah. So it's a very, very bad habit.
It is a very bad habit, exactly. Especially if you have eBay on your phone.
Yeah,
And then so
it's
your uncles basically, gave you a good good taste of what good music basically is all
yeah,
about. And when music, as when the instrument came into your life, was it the guitar straight away? Did you dabble with anything else?
well, because one of my uncles, he played guitar. He still plays guitar. Uh, so that's why I wanted to start playing guitar. But there was also, for a while, I wanted to play drums, because that's, of course, always the coolest and most fun. Just hitting things. But there was a no from my parents. And then for some reason I wanted to play the piano, but there was also a no, because it's too huge and too expensive to buy back then. So then, getting an acoustic guitar, that's easy and cheap. So that's where I that's where when I started.
Who got you your first acoustic guitar?
My parents.
Nice,
Yeah, I
nice.
think, yeah, when I was 8 or 9, something like that.
Did you go take lessons then, or what happened?
Yeah, when I was 9, I started into one of these, programs that you have in school, where you can play any instrument you want. You get a lesson every week after school from whoever whoever teacher it is. We had this old woman that taught us really basic stuff, these kids songs.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun for a little while. Then it wasn't anymore. I actually I lost interest completely when I was 13, I think, but then almost. And then she announced that she was going to quit, and that there was another young guy that was going to start teaching us instead. And that guy, he had incredible skills and played Van Halen stuff and all these cool things. So that's like, whoa, okay.
The Pandora's box just
that
opened.
Sparked my interest again, big time, which was good.
So, and what age were you then? How many years did you spend with the acoustic before you got an interest on an electric guitar, or got to know what an electric guitar is, for the matter?
I think I got my first electric guitar when I was 14, probably.
Oh wow, okay.
I had an acoustic until then. I learned some AC/DC basic riffs on that acoustic thing, so that was.
And when you got your first guitar, when you were at the age of 14, were you living at your parents' still, I presume?
Yeah.
And then did you have an amp? Were you okay with the noises
Yeah.
that you were creating?
A small amp.
A small amp.
Yeah, I don't think it wasn't that noisy.
And
but there were complaints about doing homework or not doing homework.
Mm-hmm.
Do homework, otherwise we're gonna lock that guitar away.
And in school, were you like your friends that you had in school? Were they listening to kind of like the same stuff that you were? Would you be like exchanging information and talking about music in general?
Yes, some of them. I had one really close friend who started playing the bass, also around 14 or something like that, and we got into Iron Maiden at the same time, and we got really into Iron Maiden, so we started playing, only playing Iron Maiden whenever we met at his house or mine. So that was great. Then we found a drummer, and then we started an Iron Maiden cover band with only one guitarist and no vocals.
Very cool. Did that ever change? Did you ever manage to find somebody to mime Bruce Dickinson?
No, we kept it instrumental. We played some Megadeth stuff too, I think, but mainly it was Iron Maiden.
Very cool. Very cool.
It was fun.
And when did you? So from having like this covers band and just playing, like the so-called garage band that we all go, initially on our musical endeavors when we were kids. When did you actually have your first band that you kind of like started gigging and maybe started writing songs, and when did that happen to you?
Maybe around 16, 17. Because my parents, they live 50 kilometers away from the capital of Gotland, the only city, so to speak. And when I was 16, I started living in Visby on weekdays because I had to go to school there. So that's when I met some other guys who knocked at my door one day. It was friends of a friend of mine, and asked if I wanted to join their band. So I was then that was the first time I started playing in a real band, playing original stuff. We didn't have that many gigs, but at least one, I think. I don't remember, or two. Yeah, but yeah. So it started then, I think.
Do you remember in the 90s when the whole scene with In Flames and those heavier bands started to kind of come out of that was, I think it was more Gothenburg, right, than
Yeah,
Stockholm. Yeah.
yeah. It was. Well, I remember it. You know, that wasn't that close to my sphere, so to speak. But because I was more into Pantera and Meshuggah and stuff like that. Uh, but I heard friends talking about those bands.
Mm.
But then, yeah, never got that close. I probably never even listened to it. I'm not sure. No idea.
And so when you finished then high school, did you go to university? And at that point, you didn't.
Nope.
So what did you do? You finished the school, and then what was the plan? If there was a plan.
I finished the school, and then there was no plan. I had.
Your parents must have loved that.
Yeah, they, they weren't too happy about it. No plan. The only thing I knew was that I liked, my life around, or my hobby that was music or whatever it was, or the lifestyle, and I was basically just trying to figure out what the hell I wanted to do with my life. And I played a lot, and I was unemployed and had no money. That was it for a long time. And then there were these different sorts of unemployment types of things, where one was actually a government funded. Basically, you could do whatever you wanted, and you and they funded it. So there was 4 other friends of mine, also unemployed musicians. So we decided, okay, but so what? So basically, we could say that we wanted to rehearse every day, 8 times, 8 hours per day, 5 days a week. Yeah, sure. Just to write down a project description, and so we did, and then that was something for a year. We learned a lot of cover songs, but really difficult stuff, like some Dream Theater stuff, Rotomania, everything. All of it was instrumental also. So it was a challenge. It was fun.
But that's fantastic that you had an opportunity to literally just play music for an entire year and funded by the government. I mean, do you think that it still exists nowadays?
No, I don't think so. I think there was one. I think there was an experiment. Well,
it worked for you.
It was legal. It was weird. That's what our drummer said in an interview. Oh, this is great, and it's also legal. Like it's even legal.
What happened to the other 3 friends of yours that you were playing with? Did they pursue a professional career in music, or did they change courses?
2 of them I'm not sure about, because we're not in touch anymore. I don't think so. And 2 of the others still play a lot, but they do other things. Their profession isn't in music, so to speak.
Yeah, but if I mean, like, the government funded you guys, and out of that you became a professional musician, a very successful professional musician, and that's something, that should be encouraged everywhere, really. I mean, it's really difficult when you finish high school and you have to make, at the age of 18, a decision to go to university. So you have to pick up a course, and let's face it, I mean, how many people at the age of 18 really know what they want in life? And even if they know, they will probably unless if they will probably change, by the age of 30, and then more more when they are 40 and onwards. It's different when it's music or a sport that you're really passionate about very early on, because people
Yeah.
that are very passionate about music, like yourself, you tend to carry on with that, you know, even if you haven't achieved the things that you achieved on your professional career, you probably would still be playing guitar, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
and teaching and doing something with it, you know.
Definitely.
So and I think that creates a lot of good positives for the individual and for society in general, to have more fulfilled people in general.
Yeah. 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 I think you're right. Definitely. That
And
was
when
great.
so after this project this year together, then what happened? What was next? What was next for you?
Next was that I got an internship in a studio there in Visby on Gotland. It's a really was already then a really well-known studio that a lot of, you know, big Swedish artists had been. So I started there, and then eventually I got employed there in that studio, and then I quit there and started doing that kind of work as a freelance kind of thing. So that started my studio engineer producer kind of thing. So I was still playing music, but now I was mainly on the other side of the glass in the studio, so to speak,
Mm.
recording others, which was great too. That's another. I guess that's my two main hobbies in life: playing guitar and you know, working with music like that, producing and mixing and stuff like that.
I mean, it's incredible that you can call what pays the bills a hobby, right? It's
Yeah,
fantastic. Yeah, those are my two hobbies in life. They
yeah,
just happen to pay the bills.
yeah, yeah. I don't want to call it work today for some reason, because then it sounds negative. Like, I might be like, no, I don't want to do that.
And when did the Weaving Temptation gig came along? How did that happen?
So it also has to do with that island, and that had to do with another friend of mine, which was we played in another band together for a while. We were, oh yeah, forgot to tell you that. That's actually we had this pretty serious band that actually landed a record deal,
Okay.
which was a huge thing, because that was one of my main goals in life, to get a record deal, you know. But I never thought about, you know, just signing that deal. It gets you nowhere. Then you know, you have to
But you
record it
think at the time
as
that your
your
life is sorted, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought so, and
Record
then
deal, I
yeah,
landed.
the day when I got home from Stockholm, when we had signed it, it's like, oh, wait, now what? Everything seems to be the same. What the fuck? Yeah. Anyways, that didn't go anywhere. But that friend of mine, Daniel Gibson, he's a producer. It's been since 2004. He was pursuing songwriting career, and it had taken him to the Netherlands or Holland or whatever we call it. And he was somehow put in touch with Robert and Sharon there. They started writing a bit together, and then they wanted him to produce the Silent Force, which was released back then. And then he wanted me to come there to co-produce it with him and engineer it, because he felt a little bit that this was too big of a project for him by himself. But he didn't mention that to them, of course. But so we did that together, and that's when I got in touch with them. And since then, we did every album.
Are you
That's
still
where
in?
I was.
Are you still involved, or were you still involved in in the producer capacity on any level on the following albums? And if so, which ones? And are you still somehow nowadays involved in terms of productions, or do you guys tend to work with a designated producer and in a separate way? Do you have any input in that sense?
Now, since I think Hydra, whenever that was released, 2015, I'm not sure. Then we, before that one, I would be in charge of recording the drums and guitars mainly, that stuff. But from that album, I started doing only guitars. So I was in charge of getting a finished pack of guitars to Daniel, so it could be sent to mix.
Who is Daniel?
Daniel is the producer, my friend from Gotland.
Okay, so he's in charge of producing and mixing as well.
No, mixing has always been other blokes. So that's been done elsewhere. But nowadays it's the same. I'm in charge of the guitars.
Wow, that's really cool. So the guitar sound of the Within Temptation albums, since you've joined them, which was, what year was it? Which year was that?
Silent Force, 2004. That's when I started doing that part.
So basically, for almost 20 years, the band's guitar sound. Well, prior to that, you would be involved, like you said, drums and everything else, but guitars, definitely your involvement is huge on the band sound.
Yeah, definitely. Now lately, since the pandemic, then of course we just started recording everything, sending stuff to each other. We actually did that Unforgiving and Hydra too, a little bit. It was way more difficult then, but now tried one song recorded with just plugins, and for next song decided didn't like that, try something else. But now also when I send it to Daniel, then they add some plugins to it, some amp simulators, and blend it together. So in the end, I have no idea if they used my sound or not. So.
How does it work when it comes to, say, like songwriting? Do you normally get like an idea of a song, and then you basically add guitars and layers of guitars, and then it's a back and forth between you and the rest of the band? And how does give me an example of how a song might come together?
No, songwriting is pretty much done and kind of finished with Robert and Sharon there, and Daniel, where they send stuff to back and forth, and all the guitar riffs and stuff are written and performed on a keyboard with a guitar plugin since I don't know how many years back, so that's what I get, and then I have to try to translate that to actual playable version on my guitar, which sometimes it's just straightforward and simple, it's nothing, but sometimes if you have this span on a keyboard, trying to do that on a guitar, and it becomes lower and lower, so now the 8-string guitars, they're starting to not be enough anymore because they don't go low enough. So it's just so that's it. So sometimes I feel like changing something a little bit, and then I send it to Daniel, and he checks it if it fits or not, or if he likes it or not, and then just record and get Ruud to record his parts, and then he send it back to me. And
do you yourself, as a guitarist, do you lack or miss the technology is obviously extremely, like you said. I mean, it's so versatile. I mean, there's very. I mean, it's a huge thing nowadays in musical production because first of all, it's dynamic, it's versatile, the quality is undeniable. I mean, how many people can actually listen to a record and say, oh, this guitar was recorded with a Soldano amp and this one is actually a Soldano plug-in? Not many
Yeah.
people, and even musicians and professionals will have difficulty to tell what's what.
Yeah.
But you yourself, as like a musician, as a guitarist, is it something that you miss it? Like say going in the studio and trying different mics and miking this amp with this cab and trying different sounds and things like that. Is it something that you miss or not?
Yes, personally, I miss it. I'm really, really picky and sensitive when it comes to guitar sound in general, but also how it feels to play with it. That's something that many of the plugins just it's lacking something when you play that you get from an amp. You know, you don't get anything back, so it's less fun to play on it. But that's how I feel about it. I know several people that like, I don't care about that. I don't feel that. I think it's great.
Because you started your career, like you said, working in the studio, and I believe that back then, you probably not. You were actually miking amps and cabs because there was no technology in on the level that we know nowadays and have it nowadays.
Yeah.
So you obviously have experience with that. So you understand about creating and getting a good guitar sound if needs be from
Yeah.
the actual equipment, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it's of course it's fun because it requires a high level of nerdery, and being a nerd is great and fun on whatever subject you choose. Just
Have you
but
have you tried the neural DSP
yeah,
gear?
I have.
You
I
have it?
have. Neural DSP is definitely they're really great, and it seems like every new plugin that they release is just getting better and better and closer. I'm waiting to get my hands on the latest one now, because from the stuff I've heard online, small sound clips, it's like, oh, okay. Sounds like maybe they have managed to get rid of that last little level of digital feel in it, and that, and of course we use their the quad cortex. I don't know if you know it, the floor modeling device that they have. It's a really outstanding tool, and it sounds amazing. So that's, I mean, it goes so fast now, the technology. So yeah,
Yeah, it
soon
makes it.
it's gonna be indistinguishable, I think.
Yeah, for sure, and it makes it just so much easier for any operation. Because
Yeah,
I mean, traveling with cabs and guitar heads and things like that is just something that I guess it's kind of like most of the physical things that we used to give so much value to. Nowadays, it's kind of like less and less because
yeah,
it's so easy to travel. You know, you can put all of that gear in one single luggage and go all over the world, play an arena, play a stadium, and just have that sound.
yeah,
Do you think that there is like, for example, not using the guitar heads, not using the guitar amps, just using um, the quad cortex and the neural DSP, but having at least guitar cabinets to capture the sound of it on stage live? Do you think that that would still be a thing, or would it make a difference to having that, or you think it's just something that definitely get rid of the cab, get rid of the head, and let's just go straight lines and PA and in-ears. Do you think that's definitely the future? That's definitely where everything is headed towards?
I mean, that's what we do already. I think most bands are doing that already. No cabs, just straight to the desk from the line output, or straight into my in-ears, or and that really works. Really works great. Of course, what you can miss is getting the the actual sound of the amp in your back, feeling
the physical.
Yeah, exactly. Which is of course more fun, but yeah, then you have to stand there all the gig. That's also not fun.
Do you remember? Exactly, and you've been doing that a lot. I love it. Do you remember your debut on stage with the band, with In Temptation? Were you nervous? Was it a big show?
I was nervous. I was extremely nervous. It was terrible. Yeah, no, it was. I think I had maybe before that I had played maximum 200 people. It was the biggest show I had ever done, and so this was in Holland, Heerhugowaard, I think. I don't remember exactly. I think so. 2011, 2,500 people maybe. Yeah, but I was really, really, really nervous, and one of my biggest memories from that night is standing. I was looking down, and I could see this girl crying, and I could see the boyfriend hugging her and looking at me like, it's your fault. That's how I interpreted it, because of course there was this little sense of grief in the whole audience, because of course Robert wasn't there anymore, and he was a big part of it. So
yeah,
I can understand that, and that, yeah, I could sense that.
And yeah, when was do you remember like the first like big tours that you did? If there's like any particular ones that during the last say 12 years of performing live with the band that we're gonna leave last year separate to talk later, but like before COVID, what was, is there any remarkable ones, anyone that you actually, oh my god, this is my hero and I'm getting to meet this person, anything that you remember?
Yeah, definitely. There are probably more, because I tend to forget them, but the first one that pops into my head is, I think it was one of the first festivals that I ever did, and we were playing in Spain, and Metallica was headlining, and it was Slayer there, and I remember getting to the backstage, just walking around like, whoa, what the hell. And me and Mike looked at each other like, man, congrats, we both said, and then we hugged each other like, we made it. And then seeing Slayer jump out of the band, like, whoa, Slayer. And then we were in the in the dressing room area, which half of it was for Metallica and half of it was for all the other bands, and they had the rehearsal spot there, so you could hear when they did a warm up before the gig. And I remember James Hetfield standing in the hallway, 3 meters away from me. I was standing outside of my dressing room, sipping on a beer, and he looked at me. I was like, wow, James Hetfield looked at me. Whoa. Yeah.
Fantastic feeling, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic feeling. Yeah.
It was weird.
And then
But it was...
yeah, I mean, wow. I mean, it's incredible when you get to do things that, at one point in life it was completely...
It's the connection.
The connection.
Now, hello,
Hello.
hello.
Yeah,
Hey.
back. It's amazing when you get like to connect with someone on that level, and you just literally have this feeling of, I mean, wow. I mean, this person was so out of my reach for
Yeah,
so long, and now here it is, and we are actually
yeah,
playing the same festival, the same, you know. It's really really incredible. I mean, yeah.
yeah.
And then obviously last year it was a big year for the band, right? Like,
Hmm.
tell us a little bit about, what started in the summer and then eventually led to an American tour with Iron Maiden and
Yeah,
an European tour. I think the biggest tour that the band with In Temptation and you guys have ever done in Europe, right?
yeah, definitely. Well, say something. You're out of sync, I
My camera
think.
seems to be frozen. I don't know
Eh,
why.
this is scary. Well, I see the movements and I hear you, but it's not in sync.
Huh, that's weird.
Uh,
That's
yeah.
weird. Let me just. I can edit this out later. My camera for some reason is stopped. Let me just turn off and back. I'm back.
No
Yeah.
difference.
No difference.
No. No. Yeah.
Yeah?
Now it's good. Yeah. Now it's good. Great.
Okay.
Great. Cool. All
So,
right.
yeah. So, what about last year when,
Yeah.
it was a big year on the band career
Yeah.
for the band, and obviously doing an American tour with Iron Maiden, and then a huge arena tour in
Yeah.
Europe with Evanescence. Um, Tell us a little bit about, the experience, and any highlights that you might remember, and sharing the stage with, like, what I know being, the band that basically made you crazy about playing guitar and being in a band, which is Iron Maiden.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a really, really great year. First of all, it's just starting to play again after the pandemic was just felt so amazing, and could really feel that we all had that feeling. We were all really happy to be able to play again and hang with each other and stuff like that. And also, you could tell that the audience had missed live shows as well a lot. So it was a great start with the festival summer and everything. Just so much fun. I was like, yeah, I can do this again. Yes. And
Because
then
you,
we
cause
had,
you
of
haven't
course,
played, since 2019, since before COVID, right? Live.
yep, exactly, 2019, and if I am correct, yeah, because 2020 we were just gonna start the Evanescence tour when everything closed down, pretty much.
Yeah,
It was,
The Evanescence tour was like, yeah, it got
I think it was
reshoot many
moved
times.
5 times or something like that,
Yeah.
which is a lot.
For an arena tour, yes.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Well, anyways, then we had then we had the first gig with Iron Maiden in the summer, which was in Poland, and that was a surreal moment for me. I remember I had problems sleeping the night before, just like waking up, like I'm gonna fuck everything up. I'm gonna fuck everything up. It's not gonna work. And then I had to like tell myself that, but wait a minute, you're not gonna join Iron Maiden. You're not gonna play. It's like you've done this before. We have played a lot of times. Okay, good. Yeah, and then just getting there was so much walking around, and wow, look, it says Nico McBrain there on that box. Wow. Wow. And then the best part, of course, was doing the gig. Poland is always so outstanding. The audience, they're just so into it. So it was an arena full of you know insane people, which is how you want to have it when you play. And also, I looked at my right and I saw Steve Harris standing there.
Wow.
No, behind some stuff, peeking up, looking at our show. It's like, what? Oh no, what? Is he looking? Oh no, I have to get my stuff together, get my shit together. But then it turned to being, because then he started watching almost all the shows. So then when he wasn't there, that's when you got worried. Oh no, he thinks we suck now. Wow, what did I do wrong? I can't play if he's not there. Yeah, no, but that was great. And then we had 2 more of those shows before the festival season was over in Spain and in Portugal. And then we had pretty much a month off, and then we went in October to the tour that you were on. 13 gigs with Iron Maiden. How about that?
It was not bad at all, was it?
Okay.
It was okay.
No, that was great. That was really. It was just such a positive tour, you know. I still miss it. All those show days were the best when you got into the venue, you had your lunch at that fantastic catering, and just, you know, you were there and just got the vibe from the whole place, and then started hearing the Iron Maiden live tracks playing back from the sound check that they do. Yeah,
it was incredible.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that we could do that for like a few months on end, right?
Yeah, that would be good. Let's do it again. Life has no meaning now.
Yeah, it was a very, very special moment. I mean,
Yeah.
Obviously for the band, such a great opportunity. But I guess for everyone involved, I mean, you know, especially yourself and Rude, and I mean, I myself as a big Maiden fan, and obviously when you start like such an important gig like that, you never really know what to expect. You just know that you want to go do your job well, and that's it. So you never go with like much expectation. You never think that Steve Harris might invite you to go for a drink in Manhattan and spend 6 hours with you drinking beers, you know.
No, that's true.
So yeah, so I mean, it was really, yeah. I have fond memories of that. It was just like, I don't know, the camaraderie, the friendship, the shows that were great, and obviously Within Temptation put on this amazing show with lights and big sound, and it was just like, it was just a full package, wasn't it? It was just great. And I finished the show and then go watch Iron Maiden every night.
Yeah, that was great. And the shows were really fun because playing in front of a huge audience that has no idea who you are, that's a different thing. So that was fun and challenging in a way. So we really had to, give it our full 30% or whatever. That's what Rude always says. Give it my full 30%. No, but that was so much fun, and for the biggest part of it, I think we went down. It went down really well with the Maiden audience.
Yeah, it was quite impressive because Maiden audiences, they tend to be quite picky. They have a very long history of not being extremely supportive to support bands or special guests or whatever, and I was like blown away by how well the reception was to the band. It was really, really impressive.
Yeah, it was cool.
And then obviously the big,
and then we went home for I went home for a few days.
2 days.
Yeah, three or four. Went to Belgium or wherever, I think, to do some rehearsals, and then back for a few more days, and then dove straight into the tour with Evanescence, which was also a great tour. You know, it was really great. And then fun thing was also that we were playing kind of the same size venues, almost like we did in the States with the Iron Maiden tour. So it was good to have that kind of little boot camp or warm up or whatever you want to call it in the States, and then get used to it and do this. Yeah, it was really fun. And great guys, the Evanescence people.
Yeah.
Fun to hang with.
Did you find do you still find difficulty on finishing, like being on the road for a long period of time and then readjusting to, say, a normal life, going back home? Because I know you have kids, you have family.
Yeah.
And do you find are you, after all of those years of doing this line of work of playing music and traveling, coming back home, do you still need like a few days to readjust, or are you able to kind of like second day already, like, okay, this is my mentality now, this is home and I have to do this and that? How does it work for you?
No, it's really difficult, especially this time, because it had been so intense for such a long time, and then stop, complete full on stop, and then then you go home to it's quiet, and instead of having a lot of people around you 24/7, there's it's the opposite, so that's really weird. And I'm just like, I'm gonna, oh yeah, I need to go do some grocery shopping. Oh yeah, that's what we have to do. Yeah. How does that work again? Oh yeah, it's over there. Oh, yeah. Now it took some time to get back, definitely. It's a good thing to have kids, because that forces you to get back into real life, so to speak, into reality a lot quicker than I guess it would take longer without them, definitely. So
Yeah.
you have to be there. You have to take care of them. You have to, they don't care about me being, they don't care about me finding it difficult to adjust now.
Is there anything in particular that you try to do, like when you go back, to try to readjust quicker? Is there any routine you try to set for yourself, or is it pretty much like the kids dictating now the routine and you just kind of like rolls with it?
Just try to unpack, try to get settled in again, try to do some workout, stuff like that, and then the rest the kids take care of. No, but I don't have them full time, so then you have the days we don't have them. It's like, what am I to do now with my life? Just call someone, meet someone, go for a drink. Yes, that's what I should do. Yeah. No, but I get it helps to have some plans too, and maybe decide that, okay, I'm gonna have a time off, but I'm gonna start working at this time, or start with whatever projects I feel like doing. If it's rebuilding a part of my studio or whatever, something that you have thought of doing but you haven't been able to do because you've been away on tour. So let's focus on those things.
Do you take some time off from playing guitar, like purposely, like on purpose? Like, do you go back and say, okay, I'm just gonna this week I'm just gonna take it easy and try to adjust to other things, or or you don't do that, or you don't even think about it. It's just leave the guitar then, and you might be picking up and playing a little bit here and there. Is there anything like that you that you do it on purpose? Like, okay, I need 5 days off from playing guitar, for example, kind of thing, or is it something that you don't really think about it?
No, it kind of just happens. It's that I just don't maybe play for a few days or a week. If it was a conscious thing, then it would be the other way around. Because I want to play, but it's just like maybe I just forget about it because there's other things to do. But then also I learned to not feel bad about it, because that's something I would do if I had decided that, okay, I'm gonna play every day, and then I didn't play for 3 days all of a sudden, and I would feel bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
You suck, stupid idiot. But I don't do that anymore, because yeah, it's okay.
Do you try to follow any kind of routine on your days? Do you tend to go at a similar time to bed every day and wake up at a similar time every day, or that fluctuates depending on what's happening around you?
Yes. Both.
Both.
I find it that I'm constantly trying to maybe change the routines a little bit so that it will fit with the time off kids and the time with kids, stuff like that. But definitely I'm trying to keep a routine that usually I have to wake up around 7 when I have the kids, and then when I don't have them, because then you're used to it. So if I'm able to sleep till 8, then I have a long sleeping. So that's nice. But I try to get up around the same time there, and eat the same kind of breakfast, and then I decided to go work as soon as I can in the mornings for half a day, and then I go home and maybe take a long walk or go do some working out at the gym or stuff like that, and then I work more but at home. So it's a good mix, good way to do it.
What time do you normally tend to go to bed in the evening?
Later than I decided to. But I think around 11, I think.
But that's really good. I mean, most musicians have a very, very difficult time going to bed at around that time, a little bit early, and waking up at what you said, 8 o'clock in the morning. A lot of people that I know have a lot of difficulty, be that being on the road or not. They just, get into the night and then sleep too late, and and even though I understand that it's obviously not a natural thing for us humans to do, we do have something called circadian rhythm within ourselves, and we should, technically speaking, be waking up when the sun rises and wind down when the sun is going down. But then again, in Sweden during the winter, that would mean like getting out of bed at fucking 10 and going to bed at 3, right?
Yeah, sounds perfect. Yeah, but also I really think it depends on if you have kids or if you don't have kids, because first of all, something happens with your brain in the first year of that child, because that's a terrible time for any adult sleep-wise, because I don't know who said it, someone said that kids steal your sleep and you never get it back. It's like, yeah. But then also, for some reason, then you start waking up early, and then somehow that's in your system. Mm-hmm. And of course, I sleep a lot later when I'm on tour, because it changes and you get better later and later and later. But it's a normal time for me to wake up around 7 or 8. So that's usually when it happens. Can be annoying also. If you decided that tomorrow I don't have anything to do, I'm gonna sleep in. You wake up 6:30.
Yeah, it happens.
What the hell?
I know. How do you deal with like social media and procrastination? Do you find yourself like, I don't know, when you're at home, or even maybe I don't know if you only work in music when you go to your studio, or if you do work from home, are you able to kind of like micromanage those instances of like not being too much on your phone, or perhaps not watching too much Netflix, or perhaps not playing too much PS5? How do you cope with those things? Are you able to within yourself observe and, okay, do you know what? I need to put this on the side and I need to actually get out of the house and do something.
Yeah, I'm pretty aware of those things because I've practiced that a lot, because it's been something that's been bothering me. You know, that all of a sudden you're stuck and you just sit there. Time flies, because that's how it's built to work with those apps. So I definitely have that. But as for the PS5, that has now, I have decided that I can play as much PS5 as I want because I'm an adult.
Great.
Yeah, but also I don't feel like I have time to do that all the time. So that also sucks. It's the other part of the adult, the responsible one in me. Yeah. Sorry, Stefan. No gaming tonight. Oh.
It's good, isn't it? It's that me time that is so necessary. Just open a beer, play some video game, watch something, just unwind.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I suppose that, we try to put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and I think it's a good thing to put pressure on ourselves because we're always striving to become better professionals, better fathers on your case, and better people. And that's hopefully the case for most people trying to just become better. But also, I think it's important to understand that, say, if you go for 3 months in a row, 4 months in a row on the road, there's nothing wrong on being now working on other projects at home. And if you have like an afternoon on your hands and you decide that I'm gonna spend playing video games or listening to music, just because the rest of the world is not doing the same doesn't mean that doesn't make you a better or worse person. It just makes your life circumstances.
Yeah.
I find difficult to adjust to that sometimes as well, because sometimes, like, you're like all the time at home doing things at home, and most people are getting up and taking a bus and going to an office and doing this and doing that. So, and that's how society was built, and we have those things kind of ingrained in the back of our minds and brains. So there's something in us that doesn't allow us to, if I'm just gonna play video game this morning, it's fine. So I think it's there must be a healthy balance, on.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that. That's because then I would feel really bad. So I wouldn't be able to enjoy it. That's annoying.
Playing video game in the morning.
Yeah.
Unless if you're on a tour bus arriving to the venue.
Sorry?
Unless if you're on a tour bus about to get on a venue. Then you can play a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Because then you're basically just kind of a spoiled brat.
Stefan, which isn't true. Stefan, it's been great talking to you, my friend. I'm gonna start winding down here, so I have some roller questions for you, some roller coaster questions for you. So I guess the first one you kind of already answered. If you have or follow any morning routines, rituals, something that you try to do it every morning.
Yep, I'm making myself a nice smoothie. It's not because of you, but a little bit, maybe.
Okay.
So that's nice. Smoothie and some tea and then some coffee.
I got my heart hurt now. It's not because of you. Let me make that very clear. Maybe a little bit.
Yeah,
it's a good habit.
But it is also a bit from you. because of you.
It's a good
Yeah.
habit. It's a good
Yeah.
habit. What is your spiritual practice, if any at all? Do you have any beliefs? Do you practice anything in connection to the ethereal world?
No, I don't do that. Beliefs, not at the moment. You know, something has been going like this certain times, and I feel like I'm more interested or into the spiritual realm, or so to speak, or energies, or whatever you want to call it. There's something, but what it is, I don't know. Just call them energies.
Fair enough. What's your view about money?
Money. Can't live with them. Can't live without them. Yeah, money. Yeah, that's you know, I guess that's difficult for everyone. Spend more than I want to, and save less than I decided to. So that's my view.
What kind of food do you tend to go when you are looking for a treat? Anything in particular that you're like, oh, tonight I'm gonna treat myself, I really want to eat this?
Yeah, burgers. Since 50,000 years back. Yeah, burgers or lasagna. A really, really nice, well-made lasagna. That's even better.
Do you cook yourself lasagna? Do you make burgers at home yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't just go out on a restaurant or order takeaway. Whenever, sometimes you cook it at home as well. Yeah.
If I do, then it's a burger. Or if I, you know, if I'm not going to dinner with friends, but that doesn't happen that often. Then I might get some more fancy schmancy stuff. But for a nice treat at home, burger or a lasagna, I think it's.
How often do you do that?
I don't know, every second week, maybe something like that.
That's very reasonable and sensible.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. What are you reading at the moment, if anything in particular?
I'm reading right now. I'm reading Dave Grohl's book, The Storyteller. I have this much left of it, or even less. I'm not sure.
You enjoying it?
Yeah, it's great. It's really, really nice read. Read it if you haven't.
Amazing, Stefan, my friend. Thank you so much for your time, brother, today.
Thank you.
Great chat. Great seeing you.
And see you in.
I'll see you in the summer. Yeah, I'll see you in the summer at some point.
Are you coming by
Sweden? But I'm gonna be actually there in Stockholm, exactly in April. Yes, I'll be there. I'll message you.
Send me the date.
I'll send you the date, and you can put it in your diary. Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Very good.
Take it easy, brother. Speak to you soon.
You too.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.